You walk into your centre to do your IELTS Writing Task 1, you open the page and you see that it is a maps question. Get in, you think, because everyone knows the maps question is one of the easier ones of all the texts that are possible. Having said that, it's still important, and I have some key tips and tricks to give you in how to do the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, the maps question. There are 3 different types of maps question that you could be given. Number 1 is just one map and you have to describe the map. This is very rare and it doesn't come up often because it doesn't allow you to compare the maps because there's only one of them. The second one is where you'll have a map today and then a map as a projection of the future. This is also quite rare, but it is more common than the one map. The one we're going to talk about today is number 3, a map how it is now and how it was in the past. Here is the question. Down in the corner there, it says the maps below show the changes to the island of Smash in 1980 and 2020. Summarise the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. As always with the Academic Writing Task 1 text, you should always start with an introduction, then an overview, and then add 2 body paragraphs and write 150 words. Let's start the clock and away we go. The first thing you should do when you open your exam and see the map question is you should highlight and make a note of the main features or the biggest changes. Also, a really key thing to do is if there is no compass or directions on the map, just draw it in. Just put in a compass that looks something like this. That way you will always be able to say where things are on relation to the island or in relation to other things. Then you need to find the main changes. So I'm going to see what has stayed the same and what has changed. So if I was looking for things that have stayed the same, I would say the beach and the trees. They are the same on both maps. There are many big changes, but I've highlighted 5 of them. The pier, the roads, the reception, the shopping mall, and accommodation. Now I've made a note of them, I can refer to it while I'm writing my essay. So let's start with the introduction. When you're writing an introduction for the Academic Writing Task 1, you always need to rephrase the description that the examiner gives you. So here we have, the maps below show the changes to the island of Smash in 1980 and 2020. So we just need to paraphrase or use synonyms to help. The best way to do this is delete below and change shows to illustrates. Instead of changes, you can show the development of the island of Smash. And you can always change the years to, in between the years, 1980 and 2020. There are many things I could have said instead of the development. I could have used urbanisation or developed for tourism. You only need to do one of these in the introduction. So if it says development, change it to urbanisation. Or if it says change it to development. Just try and use a different synonym for change. That's it. 1 sentence introduction will be sufficient. Save the rest of your words for the overview and the body paragraph. After the introduction, you need to write an overview. And in the overview, like with all of the tasks possible in Academic Writing Task 1, you need to talk about the main features and in general what has happened to the island between the past and the present. As always, the best way to start an overview is with the keyword overall. Using overall ensures that your overview sticks to the main trends and doesn't go into the details. The details are saved for the body paragraphs. So start with overall. Also, some key vocabulary you can use: facilities, which basically means attractions or tourist attractions. Transformed means changed. Residential is another word for accommodation. And constructed is a synonym for built. So have a look at my overview. I said the island of Smash has been developed for tourism in the past 40 years. Many new facilities have been built on the island, including residential areas and roads. We use residential areas here because it says accommodation here. If it said residential here, I would write accommodation here. Always best to use synonyms. They have constructed a shopping mall and a reception. I've used constructed instead of built because it's another synonym and it helps your vocabulary score. The only things that haven't been transformed are the trees and the beach. So transform means change. The only things that haven't changed is the beach and the trees. And that will be our second body paragraph, what stayed the same. The body paragraph should always be split into 2. My first paragraph, I'm going to talk about the changes to the island, and on my second body paragraph, I'm going to talk about the similarities of the islands or what stayed the same. Firstly, I'm going to talk about what has changed. And in the first body paragraph, it's always a good idea to start with an adverb. I like to use interestingly. Also, here is where you can start talk about where on the island they are placed. So remember the compass from before, we can say things like on the north coast. The coast is where the island meets the water. So this is the north coast of the island. We can see by north. On the south side, we can see is this side, the bottom side, or the side to the south. You can also say what things are next to. So by a pier means you can say what's next to the pier. Leading up to also means on the way towards. So here is my first body paragraph. Interestingly, a restaurant was built on the north coast of the island along with a road leading up to it. So the restaurant is on the north coast, as we can see, with a road leading up to it. To the south of the restaurant, so down from the restaurant, a shopping mall has been constructed. A reception building has also been built on the southeast side of the island by a pier. So here's the reception, and it's by or next to the pier. All this is vocabulary you need to learn when you're talking about things in relation to other things. So that's what's different. Now in the second body paragraph, we need to talk about what has stayed the same. When you're talking about similarities and differences, it's always good to start the second body paragraph with a cohesive device. I like to use on the other hand. So when you're talking about things staying the same, it is good to have some vocabulary. So you can talk about how it's remained the same. You could say it's preserved. We could say it's untouched. So my second paragraph about what's the same is, on the other hand, a lot of the island has remained the same for 40 years. The beach in the southwest of Smash Island has been preserved. Most of the palm trees that are scattered the island are also untouched. So scattered just means strewn about or randomly placed on the island. We've also talked about southwest, which is to the south and to the west, where the beach is, and we're saying it is preserved, which means not changed. So here is the vocabulary for not changed, preserved, untouched, or remained the same. Just keep it simple in the body paragraphs, talk about a couple of things, and then do not write a conclusion. That's it, you're finished. We don't need a conclusion in these. Check you have 150 words, check your spelling, check that you have varied your sentences, and that is how you get a level 7 in less than 7 minutes. And stop the clock. Thank you for making it to the end. I hope you got a lot of value from this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single video going forward. In the meantime, check out these 2 videos for more hints and tips on how to get a level 7 in just 7 minutes. See you next time.